Styling and profiling. It's live and in color.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am your host, Tommy. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up. And I appreciate you guys who are already here in the chat. Hen Dog, what is up, my man? And let me bring on my guest today. Joining me is Jerick from Jant Sports. Jerick, I appreciate you hopping on. And I got Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, you know, we changed his name, guys. He used to just be Nathan. And, you know, we had to make Nathan more fun. So now he's just a nasty guy. And I'm going to tell you guys, he doesn't like the Von Miller signing. Oh, it makes him even nastier. But we'll get to that in a minute. I appreciate y'all being here, man. So let's get right to it. The biggest signing that this franchise has had, in my opinion, since I want to say Mario Williams. 6 years, $100 million back in the day. That was a big signing. By the way, Mario Williams put up some numbers, so it's not like he was a bust free agent signing. But that was the last one I remember. That was like, oh my God. I don't really count Terrell Owens, guys, because it was 1 year deal, and you know that was like one of those like let's get butts in the seat kind of thing. Jerick, man, your thoughts on Von fucking Miller?
Well, first of all, man, you're getting one of the best pass rushers of all time. So it's truly an honor to get a player like that. But of course you're talking about a player that can still produce at his age. Now again, I understand people, that might not like it is because of his age. He's going to be 30, he's going to be 33 in about a week. But he still is extremely productive. He hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. And again, you can bring him in here not only for him to put pressure on the quarterback, but to get to the quarterback. That's what Buffalo has been missing for years since Mario Williams is a guy that can actually not just get pressure on the quarterback, because Buffalo's always been good at that. It's getting home, getting to the quarterback. So to give to get that sack master here and to mentor young guys like Boogie Basham, AJ Epinesa, Gregory Rousseau, I think that is extremely pivotal for the development of those guys. But to also, again, Von Miller is not going to be taking a whole bunch of snaps, like we all assume. I think at this point, Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, Leslie Fletcher, these guys know he's 33 years of age. These players, some players age like fine wine, and some others, once they hit to that 30 age point, they start to kind of fall off. And Von Miller is one of those rare players that has shown signs that he can continue to keep going. So I really like this move for Buffalo. They pulled the Rams. They said, they went all in and they wanted to try to go for that Super Bowl. And we all know he's not going to be here for 6 years, but whether if it's 2 years or 3 years, I think that's where Brandon Beane is banking on. We're expecting a championship run. And Von Miller, man, if we somehow, some way, if we end up winning a Super Bowl, whether if it's this season or next season, or, if Von Miller's 35, they can continue to produce. And if we get a Super Bowl within those 3 years, people are like, oh, wow, that's actually a really good signing. 6 years, $120 million. That was actually a good signing for Buffalo. So I like this pick overall. And I'm just excited, man. I'm really excited, man, to see Von Miller showcase and see if we can make that run to the championship.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. Now let's get to the villain. The villain of the show of today, guys. Let's get to Nasty Nate so he can piss off the chat here. Go ahead, Nasty Nate. Tell us why this is a bad signing by the Buffalo Bills. Listen, go for it, brother. Everyone has their opinion. I want to hear yours.
I totally know, like, I'm in the minority on this one, but we went back to last week, how you were on Friday Night Lights with Joe, and Joe brought up that great question. Would you rather, win a championship 1 year and suck for a decade, or do you want to be really good for a decade and not win a championship? I'm in that I'd rather be really good for a decade and not win a championship than win one championship and suck. And that's kind of what this Von Miller thing has done. It's you've really kicked the can down the road in terms of salaries. So like this year is you must win this year mentality, and that's what I don't like. It's not that he's a bad player or he doesn't fit. None of that. It's just I just don't like that mindset of how you
Okay, so I got a counter to that.
Okay.
I got a counter to that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things to factor in here.
Yeah.
One, everyone's looking at the 6 years. It's not really a 6-year
it's
deal.
3
It's
years.
more of a 3-year deal. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, I trust Brandon Beane, unlike any other GM we had in Buffalo, who would bring in a big name, big contract, and we are just going to tank it out. If it don't work, oh, well, it's a wrap. It's not how it's going to work. It's not how it's going to play out. If one thing has told us about Brandon Beane is he knows how to work deals out. He knows how to restructure contracts. He doesn't do stupid signings. This isn't a Brandon Beane, oh, my God, like I better do something or I'm going to lose my job. This is a signing where it just works. It works for the players in the locker room because, listen, when we didn't sign Jones, when we didn't sign Jones,
Jones,
I was on Twitter saying, listen, Bill's got a problem here. They got a young core of edge rushers, all young. Gregor Rousseau, who's still learning on the job. You got Boogie Basham, who's second year, right? Coming in. You got AJ Epinesa, who didn't really take a huge step in year 2, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. We weren't bringing
Shaq
back Gary more than like, well, Shaq wasn't on the team.
Sure.
And Shaq's not the guy that I want mentoring. I love Shaq.
Yeah.
But if you're going to bring in a guy to be in the locker room for these guys to watch as a pro, how a pro does it, and a guy who's an instant impact type of player, which Von Miller is, that's the guy, and you're going to pay a little bit over what probably many said he's, worth. We probably paid a little bit over, but I'm cool with it. I really am, because everything at a whole there, what I just said there, is going to make it worth it. You understand? So Gregor Rousseau is going to learn so much. He's going to pick his brain. You're going to see Gregor Rousseau excel even at a faster pace because Von Miller's in the locker room. Mikey, glad you are on. Mikey, what is your thoughts on Von Miller since I wasn't shutting the fuck up? Go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. First off, let me apologize. I was late. I live on the West Coast and I was still working. So, your 8 o'clock calls are like 5 o'clock my time. So, but to talk about Von Miller in general, going back to what Nate was just saying, the question wasn't so much not win one and suck. The question was, would you go all in and kind of sacrifice, the future for winning now? I was on the fence a lot like you, Nate. I'm more of let's build this thing up. I remember going through the 17 years. I hated not making the playoffs. I would have given anything just to make the playoffs, let alone win a championship.
Yeah.
The Von Miller move, I don't know if you guys heard Brandon Beane today during his press conference. We didn't sacrifice the future. The way he went through free agency this year, he manipulated to where we're still good down the line. We still have money next year. We were always going to have, I think we had about 30 or 40 million coming off the books next year, depending on what they do with Tremaine and some other guys. So we're still set up pretty well. The cap is going to go up anywhere from 10 to 25 million a year over the next 3, 4, 5 years. So Beane has projected how it's going to look and has built these contracts. And since he already had Allen, which was the biggest one,
that's the big
piece. So we started building out and say, okay, if we can get Von Miller this year for 6, 7, 8 million, next year we can give him 17. We know it's going to go up. We're also probably going to end up re-signing Diggs later on this summer, which is going to he's going to be able to drop that cap number next year and then give him his extension. So he's playing, he's playing with the cap, but he's setting us up for the future as well. Brandon Beane is not going to sell out as much as a lot of the Mafia wants him to. He's not going to. He'll still take his chances and he'll still take his swings, because he did it with Vernon Butler. He missed. He did it with Starr. He missed. So it's not like he hasn't taken the swings. He did it with Kelvin Benjamin the first year. He made an in-season trade. Yep. He missed. He'll take his swings and miss. He'll take his L's and continue to keep taking that swing. Every year he seems to restock the O-line and the D-line.
Yeah.
I have faith in that guy. I will never, ever take any type of bad comment towards him again, because I'll tell you, Tommy knows I was cursing him out halfway through. Like, we had a giant hole at D end, and I was one of those like, what the hell's what are we have to do something? What are we gonna do? Is he gonna make that trade?
And that's one of my
what?
things. That's one of my things too. It's almost like he wanted. What was it the guy that went to Oakland? He wanted. It almost seems like it was his third option. That's what kind of bugged me a little bit too. But
I don't think it was. I think
not
it was
necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong.
Because from what Nate, from what came out later was Buffalo was working that deal since the morning time, and it was one of those things where Von Miller. I think Von Miller was torn. He really was. The Rams were fighting it the whole way. And I understand that. And even Von Miller came out and said, listen, I mean, this was not an easy decision. And it's very possible that Brandon Beane wanted Jones, but he was the second option in case Miller didn't work out. So maybe Beane was like, I want you both. And maybe he was talking, but maybe he was really holding hope for Von Miller. And then Jones probably, who knows? Jones could have been like, I can't wait no more. Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah, you
never
know.
know.
You never know.
We will never know.
You have to remember, the report that came out said 2 elite defenders reached out to Buffalo. We know for a fact that Von Miller was one of them because that report came out. We don't know who the other one was. My guess is probably Jones' agent, because I think the media connected the dots back with Jones because he's a local kid.
Yep.
And that's why they assumed that's what it was going to be. But we know for sure Von Miller's one who was one of those ones that reached out to the Bills. The Bills didn't reach out to him. He came to us and said, I'm interested.
Yep. By the way, real quick, guys.
Very under the radar. No, go ahead.
Hey,
go, Tommy.
Jerick, because I normally do this in the beginning now instead of the end. Jerick, real quick, man, in case anybody doesn't know your channel, where can they reach you at and where can they find you? All that good stuff, man.
My YouTube channel is Jan Sports. You can check me out there. Love talking about Bills football, other sports topics. You can also reach me out on Twitter at Jan716, Instagram Jan Sports, and again, send me a DM, hit me up. I'm ready to talk sports with anybody.
Yeah, dude is very knowledgeable, guys. Buffalo Bills talk and Alabama talk. So anyone that's an Alabama fan as well.
So Jans, were you stoked to see OJ Howard signed?
Oh my God! Yes. I love OJ Howard, man.
Might as well get into it. Go for it.
Yeah, oh my God, was next. Yes. Yeah. I wanted OJ Howard when he came out. Came out from Alabama. I knew the type of potential he had, especially playing with mediocre. I hate to say it, but mediocre quarterbacks. I love Jalen Hurts to death, but my goodness gracious, what OJ Howard had to deal with from Jacob Coker and Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's my goodness gracious. I really wish he had Tua or Bryce Young. I really wish he would have had a quarterback to throw the football. Otherwise, he would have been a top 5 pick. But OJ Howard's extremely talented, a ton of athleticism at around like 6'5", 250. The man can run, and he can run a sub 4.4. I'm sorry, a sub 4.5. Yeah. He's an athletic freak, and I think about him is just can he separate? Because he's not Darren Waller, even though he has the same frame as a Darren Waller. He's not that pure receiving tight end or George Kittle. He's not that really that technical, but he's straight line speed. He's learned how to separate from defenders. He's gotten a lot smarter, especially when it comes to going against zone schemes. I mean, he has really evolved himself to being a complete tight end. It's just the unfortunate situation was at the time he got better as a tight end, you're in a situation where you're competing with Cameron Brate and Rob Gronkowski for reps. And that's just and that sucks. I think a lot of people will say, well, he's more of a buzz guy. For the most part, his entire career in Tampa, it's been injuries or he's just been behind Cameron Brate, who's a really good, at the time, was a really, really good tight end. So for OJ Howard, this is a great opportunity for him to kind of showcase exactly what he's kind of made of. He's still really young. He's around, I think, 27, or I think he's about to be 28 years of age. Yeah. He's still, he has not lost anything. He still has that high upside, that productivity, I think, to his game that he can add. And now it's scary because now with OJ Howard, with Dawson Knox, are we going to see more 2 tight end sets now?
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Right? Yeah. You now have.
That's what Yep. Alpha Rob actually going in and saying Dorsey looks like Dorsey wants to use the double tight end more. So yeah, go ahead, get to that, man.
Or the big slot. Use OJ in that big slot.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
You can line him up, and again, he's a linebacker. He is a mismatch to any nickel or any linebacker that's covering him. Not that huge of a red zone threat. He's never been a Rob Gronkowski or Antonio Gates in the red zone, but he is a type of dude. The most important part, and I love this, run after the catch ability. Elite run after the catch ability. That is why I fell in love with O.J. Howard at Alabama, and that's exactly why I follow. Why I love him now, and I'm excited for him, man. I met him back in Prattville, Alabama, back when he was a senior in high school, and he's a really, really nice dude. So overall wise, that was honestly my favorite signing was O.J. Howard, because I'm thinking about Dawson Knox. I'm thinking about O.J. Howard, and now you add Gabe Davis with Stephon Diggs, and our slot receiver who we could potentially address in the draft, maybe free agency. But that is a very scary tandem, especially if O.J. Howard lives up to those first round expectations. If he can just live up to it, maybe have like 400, 500 yards, and maybe a solid receiving tight end for Josh Allen. Man, this offense is going to be extremely scary. O.J. Howard fits this offense perfectly, and I'm excited.
So imagine this lineup. You got Diggs and Davis on the outside. You got Knox as tight end. You have O.J. Howard as your big slot, and then you have Mckenzie running out of the backfield.
I thought it was the opposite. Like you put Howard in as tight end, and then
you could do either one. I think Howard's actually a better route runner than Knox is. Knox, because I believe Howard at Alabama played some big slot, if I remember correctly. So it's not new to him. I know Dawson has done some of that in our formations, so you could flip flop those guys if you want to. But then you put Mckenzie in the backfield.
Yeah,
all that speed.
You want to answer that, Mikey? What do you think the players are?
What do I think the enthusiasm is about coming to Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs on offense. Then you got on defense, you have the number 1 rated defense coming out of last year. Everyone knows that we were 13 seconds away from probably winning the Super Bowl. I believe the Bills had the best team.
Absolutely.
We did.
We needed a closer. So Von Miller's like, I can close.
Right.
O.J. Howard's like, I can get more playing time. Like I listened to O.J. Howard's his press conference, and I'll tell you, it didn't dawn on him. His agent sold him on Buffalo. Like his agent's like, dude, this is where you need to be.
Yeah, it's an
all-world quarterback. Yeah. And they're looking for a second tight end. You go out there for 1 year. Look what Mitch Trubisky did. Everyone's like, "Oh, he only got a 2-year, $14 million deal." That's only if he doesn't win the starting job. If he wins the starting job, he got a $26 million deal.
Yeah,
extension city.
But like his incentives by winning, he goes from 7 a year to 13 a year.
But let me give you a prime example of that. Ryan Tannehill, who signed as a backup, and got big money.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's not. I would say he's a top 15. He's a middle pack quarterback.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think he's the worst. I don't think he's the best. He's right in the middle. You can win with Tannehill, just not go all the way.
Yeah, that's a great job, actually.
But he got paid. Now O.J. Howard, I'll tell you what, smart deal. His agent was smart because listen, just like Mike is saying, he's coming here on a 1-year deal. He's going to showcase his stuff. He has a great quarterback throwing to him. He's going to get paid as long as he doesn't get hurt or doesn't show out. Crap the bed. Right. And I don't think so. Listen, most players that come here, unless you get hurt, they're, for the most part, man, they want to play for Buffalo. They want to prove something. And look, we even got guys, 2 guys back. Phillips and Shaq, right? Phillips and Shaq Lawson.
Oh, yeah,
2 guys that got paid. He said, I'd rather come back.
Right? Do you remember the conversations that were going on about, a week ago, how Sean McDermott lost his locker room? Nobody wanted to play for him anymore?
Right.
I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear about that, but I never questioned
the Tyler Dunn report saying how Sean needs to, give answers and like all kinds of crap.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, I didn't read the report. I'm just paraphrasing. But
no. That was probably blown out of context.
Overblown out of context.
Yeah.
So unfortunately.
Yeah. I want to get to the rest of the signings real quick, and then we'll just go over everybody because there's a lot more. Even the guys that there's 8 of them.
Yeah.
And some of these guys, I'll tell you who I'm excited for too. Saffold.
Yeah.
Is a beast guard, like a Pro Bowler, right? Yeah, he's getting in his older age, but my God, that's an improvement, right?
Yeah, you know who the most underrated then? The most underrated signing? Daquan Jones.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, that's what I'm getting.
One tech.
You got Settle, who's a young player who Washington fans loved. You got Daquan Jones, who is a beast. The one thing I like about what they did, they addressed was the defensive tackle room, right? The line. They got bigger. We were not a big team on the line there. Matter of fact, we were even lighter the year before. So we just added, I believe,
over 1,000 pounds.
Phillips is 340. Yeah, 340. Jones is 320, I think. And I think Settle's 320. So my God, man, talk about big boys that are going to be able to rotate. That are going to be able to rotate in and out because that's what they love to do, McDermott and Frazier. Man, dude, like this. Now this is the line I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see.
Well, what we had before were a bunch of 3 techs playing 1 tech. What we now have is 2 3 techs, and that's Oliver and Phillips. And Phillips does have the flex into 1 tech. And then we have 2 1 techs and Daquan Jones, who's truly a 1 tech, and then Settle, who's going to start at 1 tech, but has the ability to flip to 3 tech. We have the actual guys who fit the system finally.
Right. Yep. And then, of course, we brought back one of our own, Dirty, Isaiah Mckenzie.
Yep.
Love Dirty, man. And maybe he signed for even he could have got more money out somewhere. You never know. Usually these guys take team-friendly deals. That seems what's going on in Buffalo. I'm glad that he's back because I really believe they're going to use him more. Dorsey's going to involve him a lot more than what Dable did. And trust me, that went along in the conversation of re-signing him. Because if Dorsey told McDermott or Beane, I want to go this direction, I don't know if he's the fit, they probably want to resign him because he's not going to be the kick returner. I'm going to tell you that right now. I highly doubt it. I think if they use him in the gadget plays, like the jet sweeps, the motions, bro,
out of the backfield,
out of the backfield. Listen, man, that's our speedster. As of right now, he is our speed guy. And I'm glad he's back. Honestly, it wasn't a big contract. It was perfect. A couple of seasons, 2 seasons. I think it was a 2-year deal, right? Yeah. Am I missing something there?
2 years, $4 million up to 8. So he can make 4 extra in incentives.
Yeah, exactly. What do you feel about that, Jance, on the Mckenzie re-signing?
McKenzie's a very important signing, man. He just does so much for this team. And, even as a backup slot receiver, he came up clutch. I mean, he came up huge when Beasley was hurt almost every single time, but you can use him in so many. You can use him in the backfield. You can use him in jet motions. If you want to use him in the, as a punt returner, as a kick returner, Isaiah Mckenzie has shown the ability to do that. He's just a very, very important, very important person when it comes to this offense. I'm honestly I'm stoked to have him back. Now, I think the question is for him is that are you going to go with him as your slot receiver, or are you going to look for somebody else? Right. That's probably the question that I kind of have. And if they do have Mckenzie as the backup, how do you get him on the field? Because last year that was kind of a problem where, I love Cole Beasley to death, but Mckenzie deserved more reps, especially with the way he played, the momentum that was kind of going his favor. And, obviously that didn't happen. So Mckenzie, again, too much talent, man, too much talent that, we just can't just sideline him. That's just talent being wasted. How do we get on the field? I think that's kind of the biggest question mark, and it's something that we have to wait and see.
And one of the best pieces to it is, Dorsey taking over as OC and McDermott surrounding him with a bunch of former OCs, so he's not in there by himself. We brought in the new quarterback coach. We brought in Mike Schuller. And I think we have one other who are all former offensive coordinators that can help bring him along. I would like to see Mckenzie used how he was used at the end of the year. Move him all over the place. He was in the slot. He was in the backfield. I think I even saw him on the outside a little bit. use him in different ways because the guy is just electric on the field.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And by the way, what's not mentioned, one thing I didn't mention, because he's not a player, but I think it's a pretty big addition to the Buffalo Bills team is Mike Schuller coming to the Buffalo Bills. Former offensive coordinator, been in the league forever. Obviously, you guys know his son of Don Shula. He knows football. And for a young Ken Dorsey taking over as OC, this is a blessing for him to have a guy like that just to chat in his ear. I mean that what Buffalo did this offseason, guys, not just the players. I'm talking from Cromer to Shula to Dorsey, doing the right things by bringing the right guys in here. I love it, man. What do you get to Nasty Nate? Because Nasty Nate's been quiet, except for the whole Von Miller sucks, get him out of town thing. What do you feel about the coaching staff? What they brung in?
Well, I like the coaching staff, but to go back to Mckenzie real quick, I was listening to Matt Petrino on was it New York Up, whatever that.
The Shout podcast.
Yeah.
Nope.
He was saying like back in 2019, he was in the locker room. And Mckenzie just brings this vibe to the locker room, like this energy, whatever. I think he's like a real locker room guy. Again, I don't know the guy personally. I'm not in the locker room, but that's just what I heard. So I think that's part of it too. But back to the other question, which was the coaching staff. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like Cromer's really good. It's like
really good.
Yeah. So
he's solid.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we're going from OG Bobby Johnson, who did, to be honest, terrible. Yeah. Okay, let's be real. Who didn't know talent either, quite honestly. And we're going to a guy that had the top 5 offensive line throughout his career. Every team he's gone on. Yeah. So, it's a pretty big deal, guys.
He's also a run game coordinator. Don't forget.
Right.
You know, Cromer brings the run game coordinator aspect, you know, so a lot of what the issues were with the Bills last year is we couldn't figure out our run game. Yeah. You know, now we bring in a guy 100%. Who specializes in teaching technique and he can teach multiple techniques. It doesn't have to just be one, and coordinating the run game. So when Dorsey's up there and he's calling his plays, he doesn't have to worry about, okay, does the offensive line and the tight ends know their assignments? Because we know for a fact the one thing Roger Sheffield said was that guy taught me where I had to be. I knew everything. I never had to guess. I always knew.
And Dog saying, just don't touch the man's beach chairs.
Yeah, he got suspended here last time.
Yes. Punch the guy in the face. Went to jail. Or he has a little attitude. All right. So
I like that. We need a little bit of that nasty. You know, that's why we bring Nasty Nate.
That's right.
That's why we bring Nasty Nate. We need a little bit of that nasty.
That's right. Yeah. Nasty Nate with the Von Miller sucks coming in.
I didn't say Von Miller sucks.
You did. He said it. I want you guys.
Listen, Nate, you'll learn. If Tommy can hold on to something, he's like a dog with a bone. He doesn't let it go.
You'll never.
He still talks about Bobby Hart. That was like a year ago.
It's true. Let's get to some cuts real quick, guys. Cole Beasley. Start with Cole. Listen, I love Cole Beasley. I did. I thought. I did a good tweet on him actually, and that's what I said. Listen, the guy came here when we started this rebuild, right? He was the start. Him and John Brown were like the beginning of the movement here in Buffalo, as you say. He was the one that came in when we were struggling and Josh needed somebody. And then he stayed and John Brown left. And Cole Beasley was as strong as you can get, right? That guy played on a broken leg. Like he was there. He was Josh's go-to guy when things were breaking down. You could count on Cole. He had some things, personal things going on, whatever, but that has nothing to do with football. I'm talking about what he did on the field and what he did for this team. I felt like he was a good teammate. It was just his time to go, and I understand that. But I got nothing but respect and love for what he did on the field. And, that's my thinking about Cole. I'll start with Jerick, man. What's your thought about Cole Beasley getting cut, man?
It sucks to lose him, man, because he was such a really, really good slot receiver and a very important leader in the locker room, man. I mean, Mckenzie kind of said it. I think he said it in a tweet that, listen, man, Cole Beasley was hard on him, man. He was hard on him, but he made him a better player. And Cole Beasley was just one of those locker room dudes that you just respected. That's a guy that demanded respect, and he automatically got it. So to lose that veteran leadership, I think it sucks to lose. Also, again, his on-field performance, how intelligent he was on the football field, man, was just, it was just incredible to see how good of a technician he was. But, like you said, I mean, it was just his time to go. Going into 2020, you just kind of felt that that the vibe was kind of just off there. I think we all thought that maybe it could be fixed. But it was just his time to go, and I wish him luck. I wish him luck anywhere else. Well, I hope he doesn't go to the Giants, because I don't want his career to be ruined. So please don't go to New York, Cole. But I think that for the most part, he's had a great career here. He'll always be part of Bills Mafia, and yeah, man, I just best of luck to him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Mikey? What you think about Cole being out?
I think Jerick said most of it. Regardless of how you feel about his political views on certain topics, the guy was a fantastic Buffalo Bill. The team loved him. Like Brandon Beane said it today. They didn't want to cut him. He came to them and said, he felt that, his time kind of run it here. He felt he'd be better off, somewhere else. And they obliged. He was a great Bill,
Yeah.
And really all of them were fantastic Bills. You know how I feel about Levi Wallace, Tommy. And you know what?
Yeah.
I wish him the absolute best. He was a really good Buffalo Bill. I just didn't want him to be a Buffalo Bill anymore.
No, and that, you know what, and that, and me and you gone back and forth on the Levi thing, and that's about as fair as thing that you ever said about Levi. I'll be real with you. And I listen, I appreciate that, because the only argument I ever made for Levi, guys, is for a guy that was a walk-on in college to do what he did to get on Alabama.
He overachieved.
Right, he overachieved, and then he came to Buffalo, and I will say this. Since we got him as a walk-on too, he made the team. That's one, which is very tough in the NFL, guys. We bash these players all the time. These guys are athletes. You get in the NFL, you are good. I don't care if you start or not, your rotation or whatever. You made it. Not only did he make it, he started. Okay, and we had options. We could have let him go the year before.
We tried to replace him.
I'm just saying.
Multiple times.
We tried to replace him multiple times.
Yeah,
you got to give him the respect.
But he was our best. But listen, for the price, I think he was a decent CB2, and I don't hate on him. I don't think he got. Oh
Tom,
my God, he's giving up these huge plays.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. What I was saying is,
what you're saying,
I respect it. No, I respect the fact that he was able to beat out everybody else. As much as we tried to replace him, we couldn't. Tip your cap to Levi Wallace. He was a fantastic Buffalo Bill, and I hope he does well in Pittsburgh when he's not playing the Bills.
The sign here, like he did, like when we kept offering those 1-year contracts, he didn't have to keep signing. He could have just went somewhere else, but he continued to stay.
Right.
He believed in his team. He believed in the process.
I'm giving him his love, Tommy. I'm just giving him his love.
Thank you.
You don't have to defend him anymore. You don't have to defend him anymore.
I don't. You're right. I don't. It is true. My God, Twitter is rough today, guys. I got in it about Matt Barkley, which I'll get into later. Mike, no joke. I was almost late to the show because I'm talking Matt Barkley talk. But anyways, Nasty Nate, Cole Beasley, man. Cole Beasley. What's your thoughts about him being cut, man? You agree with it? You like it?
I'm surprised he actually didn't get traded, because, I still think he's a really good football player. He would really fit a team with a young quarterback like Nate Pickett if he gets drafted in the first round, or even I'm just throwing a team out there Detroit. How at least he gets open, he can move the chains a little bit for you. So yeah, I'm just surprised they couldn't actually get anything for him. It was only a 1-year deal anyways. So, but yeah, he's an NFL player. He's a real good player. I don't know.
Yeah, he still has something. Listen, he still could provide something for a team.
Yeah,
and like you
absolutely.
said, maybe a younger quarterback, just like Josh. Guys, by the way, Josh was young when he came playing for you.
That's just it, right?
Yeah. So
on the Beasley trade front, if they would trade for him, that's a $7 million cap hit. A lot of people are like, I like him. I don't like him at $7 million, and they knew Buffalo was going to release him. and
no
they knew
one's
Buffalo was
gonna
going to release him.
Yeah, I
so
guess
they just waited. Like Beane said it today. There was some feelers out there, but nothing materialized.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that he was going to be released
if we would have got a trade for him, that would have been a steal, bro.
I'm talking 6th, 7th round is what I'm talking. But
still, they had to take that cap. That's a lot of the reason why I think Bradbury's still on the Giants. There's a $13 million cap hit attached to him. It's not that he's a bad player. No one wants to pay that contract.
Yeah, I didn't think 7.5 was that bad for Beasley, but I could be way off.
No.
A 34-year-old slot. 34-year-old slot.
A slot that gets open all the time. I'll take that.
Yeah, but Nate,
he's been hampered with injuries the last 2 years.
True.
And yards after catch has not been his
absolutely
his thing lately, right?
At least he gets open, though.
It's it and goes down. Like there is no, if it's a 10-yard pass, he's getting 2 more.
Jacksonville had already given out all of their money. So.
Right. One more cut, guys. Star, which listen, after all these signings, we knew was for sure happening. I thought it was going to happen regardless, but once we got all these guys on the line, Star's days were numbered. It was only a matter of time. Jerick, what do you think about Star being cut, man? You think it was a good choice, good decision?
I thought it was a good choice. I think, Star for the most part, just unreliable. Just, whether, again, I'm not, he's a good person, and obviously he had obviously some personal issues that, and obviously he opted out for 2020 because of COVID, but just unreliable. And again, he's a talented player, but when one of your most important players just can't be on the football field, then at this point you can't do it. You just can't do it. So I think for the most part, getting a guy like Daquan Jones, getting Tim Settle, getting one of those bigger guys in there, I feel like it's very, very important for the Buffalo Bills for the most part. And it sucks that you have to take. You got to take the hit with the release of Star Lotulelei. I actually thought that maybe you could have went out there and traded for him because I think he does have some value. But for the most part, this is something that it just felt like it needed to really happen. And I feel like the Buffalo Bills are just going in a new direction. I think you have upside. You have higher upside with guys like Tim Settle. You got the experience with Daquan Jones there that can mentor a guy like Tim Settle. And then obviously there's Jordan Phillips that's there as well. So I think for the most part, Buffalo, they had to do what they had to do. It's unfortunate because I love Star, and I know that when he's on the football field, he can produce. But there's just a combination of just multiple things that just happened that obviously he had to get let go of.
Yep, 100%.
Odd man out.
Yeah.
He became the odd man out. When Jordan Phillips signed here, he became the odd man out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was
good
it.
Bill.
That made it official. That was the stamp right there. That was the stamp.
He was a good Bill. COVID hit. I know he had some personal things going on, especially with COVID from a health standpoint. I wish him nothing but the best. We appreciate your contributions to the Buffalo Bills and the Bills Mafia. And good luck, bud.
Yeah. There was rumors he was going to retire even, I heard.
Yeah.
Who knows? Rumors are rumors, and I can't speak on that because
but we're taking the whole
size of Giants tomorrow. I know that sucks. That hurts.
I think that's a great thing. That because we're not pushing it down the line, we're not kicking the can. We're just taking.
We didn't get a comp. I know we didn't get a comp pick, right? Because we replaced them. They were talking about that earlier about a comp pick.
Listen, the way the comp picks work is Bills weren't going to get a comp pick anyways. Once we signed Von Miller at that 120 million, the comp picks were wrapped. But you have to remember,
right?
Beane gets our comp picks in preseason trades.
Right.
We dealt our tight end to the Falcons. I can't remember.
Marino that said that, right?
McCarron. I mean,
yeah. We do all those little ones. He always sends somebody out, and he grabs a late round pick. Those are the build. That's the way.
Yeah. No, I agree.
He gets the comp pick. So more power to him.
Yep. I do got to ask because everybody, even I was shocked that that we made this many signings.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because if we all hear the presser at the end of the year, it was, well, listen, guys, don't expect anything big. It's not going to happen. We got this cap and, we're going to do what we can. But so I was thinking, okay, like when we signed Settle, when we signed Saffold, I was like, okay, that's kind of what I expected. But those are good signings, no doubt. But I was thinking that was about it. We'll probably get a couple guys here and there, maybe the rotational guys, and then boom, the Von Miller. So I got to ask, is Brandon Beane the best GM in the NFL? Jerick, I got to ask you this. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this. Is he the best?
He's one of the best. You can make an argument for it. I mean, only Brandon Beane, man. I mean, we barely had anything, and all of a sudden he was able to make, nothing out of something. I mean, able to get the amount of players that you were able to get, and I'm still wondering to myself, I'm like, can we do it? Can we still get players? I mean, Jarvis Landry's on the market. I wouldn't be opposed to maybe getting one more edge defender if we can. It's like Brandon Beane is like the magician, man. Big baller Beane. It's just
right. The magic man.
What
is he going to pull out of the hat next?
Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just incredible to see. And the biggest question mark for me going into this offseason was that can we have a better roster than what we did last year? I think that was the biggest question. And obviously, when you barely have anything, when you're over the cap, it's hard to really do those things. And not only have we done those things, I think that we have made major improvements to certain areas where we were kind of stuck in, right, based off of what happened towards the 2020 offseason when you had Quentin Jefferson and Mario Addison and Vernon Butler, and it kind of just in a way, I'd say it's kind of screwed everything up. So now to get players, I think to get players with not only with more upside or more experience, but to get players that are still in the prime of their lives or still are developing as players, and they're bigger, they're more athletic. And honestly, it's great. It's great that, it's just Brandon Beane is one, if he's not the best, he's one of the best. Easily top 5 GMs in the National Football League.
Yeah.
I do got Hen Dog coming in and says, what are your thoughts on Beane fuming about JD McKissick and Washington? So I guess I'll start with Mikey, let's say. Mikey, what's your thoughts about how that whole thing went down?
It was dirty. And he called him out. And you have to remember, those were all guys that Beane's close to, that he came through the ranks with, over there in Washington with Rivera and all those guys. They all came through the same pipeline in Carolina. So, I don't have a ton of takes. There was nothing illegal about what they did. They were unwritten rules that were broken.
Well, I did a 3-hour Twitter battle after we signed them, saying I didn't like it. I spent like 3 hours. I'm not even. Mikey knows probably, bro. Back and forth with because one thing about Bills Mafia and Twitter, if you hit a subject, boy, and they don't like it, it's gonna be on, man. And it was on, and I'm not backing down. They're not back, bro. We were going, and then the next morning. He's not even on the team. And I tweeted back, I just fucking debated people for fucking 3 hours for nothing. Nobody responded back.
See, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to get into those Twitter battles, Tommy.
My God, but they're so fun. They are kind of fun. They do entertain me. I got in one today, by the way, Mikey, as you I'm sure are well aware of, with Matt Barkley. Conversation.
Yeah, we got into it in a text exchange, not on Twitter.
I mean, all of a sudden, I didn't know that Matt Barkley is the Frank Reich of Buffalo Bills.
He's not.
I get it, Mikey, Bill. But if you tell the Twitter world that, because Twitter world, apparently, I'm like, okay, listen, go buy his jersey then. You love him. Bro, all I remember Matt Barkley doing is waving a coat around in the play, bro, come on. His completion percentage was 50%.
He started twice. He won one. He lost one.
He's hot garbage, bro. I'm sorry.
And that
we'll
is
get
your
into that
opinion.
later. I just spent 2 hours.
Fact. It's okay that you. I get that in Tommy's world, he's hot garbage. In other people's worlds, he's an adequate backup.
He's not even Family Dollar. He's Dollar Tree.
And I will tell you, at the end of the day, the only person that really matters is Brandon Beane. So Brandon Beane doesn't give a crap about your crappy takes and what you think of Matt Barkley.
You know what's funny about my crappy take is if he was such a great backup quarterback, why wasn't he here last year, Mikey?
Because we had
why not just keep him on the cheap
as our backup?
But who cares? You love Matt Barkley so much. He's 1 for 2.
So what's the difference between Matt Barkley and
sure,
Mitch
tell me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
About $26 million.
No. What about the money? It's not about the money. We're not talking about money. We're talking about play.
Play?
Yeah.
So let's go look. What was, he has 4 years starting experience, 2 playoffs. Okay. Now, you can't take Mitch Trubisky and Matt Barkley and try to compare them.
And you said, wait a minute. You said you would take Barkley over Flacco, right? Right now.
Hell yes. Flacco now? You give me Flacco in his prime? Okay. But Flacco today? I'll take
What
Barkley
is so
over
great
Flacco.
in Barkley in this? Is Barkley in his prime? I didn't know about. Mikey?
He's still better than Flacco?
Tell me
when the last time
guys,
Flacco won a game was.
I spent 3 hours
When's the last time
I am not
Flacco
going
won a
back
game?
and forth.
When's the last time Flacco won a game?
When's the last time that fucking Mac Barkley played a real game? And the last game he played
2 years ago,
terrible.
Why are we talking about quarterbacks that suck?
52%, 2 interceptions. We ran the ball. Like, get out of here. He was terrible. I don't want to hear it. He's sorry.
You're
as
a hot
hell.
mess. You are a hot
Josh, listen, that guy can't win. If we God forbid needed 4 games to win, let's just say hypothetically.
You think Flacco's going to do any better?
I think he'd win. I think he'd do 2 out of 4.
You are smoking
I think
crack.
he'd do 2 out of 4. I think he would.
You are smoking crack.
He came in against us, and our defense did just fine, bro. Did just fine. I saw what I saw. He led the Jets right down the field. You can say what you want, but he sure did.
Against backups?
Sure did. Did you watch that game?
Sure.
Okay.
Against backups when we were up by like 40?
I'm sending you a Barkley autographed mini helmet, $9.99.
Smoking crack. Joe
okay,
Flacco. Joe Flacco. Holy
He's better
crap.
than Barkley, bro. Barkley's
you are
garbage,
nuts.
bro. You just like him that you just like how he spins his coat. Anyways, all right. Me and Mikey on a traditional.
What's your thoughts between Flacco and Barkley?
They both suck.
They're both that good.
I'll take it.
They're both that good.
I'll take it, Jerick. I will take that.
Jerick,
I will take it.
So, Jerick, the quarterbacks on the market that we can afford. Who's better than Barkley that we can afford?
You know what's Mariota funny to say that, Mikey?
You think we can afford $7 million for a backup quarterback?
I got an answer for that, though. I got an answer for that. Whoa. You're telling me that Brandon Beane, who signs players at a low all the time, can't get a better option that's a little bit better and a better deal? Because Brandon Beane is known for getting players to come here for lower than they would take somewhere else. Why? So all of a sudden now backups. What do you mean? Obviously not. So that's it. He's done looking. So you're saying he's the worst of the worst. He's the lowest.
What are you talking about?
He's the cheapest quarterback we can get right now.
No, I bet you he could get a cheaper quarterback. He's the best cheap quarterback we could get right now.
He's not even in the top 20 backup quarterbacks rankings that I looked at free agent market. Just
and all of them will get anywhere from $5 to $10 million.
No, they won't. I would take Jacoby Brissett over him. Dolphins?
Who made $10 million last year as the backup?
He ain't gonna make $10 million this year. Ain't gonna make 10. You really? Mikey, come on now. Who just signed? Another guy that signed for like $4 million, and he's way better. Now, of course, you're talking the guy for the Dolphins signed for 10, but he's a potential starter.
Teddy Bridgewater.
He could potentially take to his job. That's a totally different situation.
And Colt McCoy signed for 6 point something. They're all anywhere from $5 to $10 million.
Okay, but you're telling me Colt McCoy 6.5. What if Colt McCoy took a deal at 4?
You know
how do you know how much?
Why don't you go ahead and negotiate that deal and bring us a better
I'm not Brandon Beane. I don't do the math. I'm not the magic man. He's the magic.
Then shut up. He went with Barkley.
Oh God, I'm gonna throw up.
We talking about something else.
God, hey, this is how me and Mikey do, guys. This is how we do, bro. You better talk to Joe Marino, bro. He hates Matt Barkley. Anyways,
that's
all right.
Fine. You can hate him all you want. I'm not saying you have to like him. I'm saying you have to like the deal. Matter of fact, I don't even think it's a done deal that it's Barkley.
Yeah, usually when a player tweets that he's coming back, it happens. So more likely.
Anyways, let's move on. No one wants to listen to us argue.
So I do want to get into some of the things we do need that we didn't address yet, and that is cornerback, that is running back, as at least a backup to Singletary for now. So I guess we'll get into cornerback. Any free agents that you guys want to see that could come on, let's say, a team-friendly Brandon Beasley kind of deal? I'll start with Jerick on that one, man.
I think the only two names I'm thinking of at this point is either Joe Hayden or Patrick Peterson. I mean, very similar roles to what Von Miller kind of provides. You're talking about two potential future Hall of Famers. You're talking about players that still offered some productivity. I mean, Patrick Peterson was still productive for the Vikings, right? You know, did he lose some juice, lose some step in his game? Absolutely, but he was still a pretty productive player. The same thing with Joe Hayden with Pittsburgh. I think for either one, if one of those players comes, you're first of all, again, you're getting that veteran presence into the locker room that can mentor some of the younger guys if you really needed to. But again, guys, I mean, the playmaking instincts. I mean, there's a reason why those guys are Hall of Famers. These guys might have lost a step physically. You know, athletically, they might have lost that step. But man, those playmaking instincts still got it. I mean, those are not going to go away. And I think those are probably the only two players that you can still get some really good production out of, even at their age, but still get them at veteran deals, right? A veteran minimum type of contracts, very cheap contracts.
Yep.
So those are probably the only two players that I can think of right now at the outside position that could maybe pair with Tre'Davious White. If not, we might have to look forward to that NFL draft.
Yeah, Mikey's shaking his head. Mikey saw something. You're
not gonna get him for veteran minimum. That's the problem. I would love to bring him in on a veteran minimum. You know, Patrick Peterson signed for $12 million last year, 1 year, $12 million or something like that. Yeah. You know, you think he's just going to magically okay, it's been a year, and he played well last year. You're telling me someone's not going to offer him $6 to $8 million? If they don't, okay, but you're not getting them. We're not getting the Shaq Lawson and Jordan Phillips type of contracts out there. They're going to cost money. I'll take them. Don't get me wrong. I'll take them.
No, I agree. I think that's the problem, though, is that again, like, egos are a big part when it comes to football. And when you're Patrick Peterson, you go from being one of the highest paid corners to now be making like barely nothing. I mean, that probably would be a problem. But you know, again, I mean, we've seen it pass before with veterans where, you know, they settle for nothing in order for them to get a ring. And I think that's probably the only part where I can see Pat or even Joe Hayden come into play. Is if they're chasing that ring, because neither one of them has it yet.
Joe has
one. Possibly the only. Oh well, yeah. Well, Joe has it. Yeah, Joe has it. But Pat
Joe has one. But I can see Pat.
Yeah,
and it would be probably closer to after the draft before we'd be able to sign one of those guys. So if they're still on the market after the draft, I can see them.
That's where they get a little.
And it's not even that they're desperate. That's when they're saying,
no, not desperate. They're but their value drop. But the value drops.
They're willing to take less to chase that ring, to be part of something special.
Yep. You know? I was thinking more like Steven Nelson, who we were kind of interested in last year. I think he would be kind of a cheaper signing, and he's not a bad cornerback. I'm just saying, but that's what we think. It doesn't mean, once again, Brandon Beane can't figure something out. Listen, every time we think it's not going to happen with Brandon Beane, it has happened, and I must keep bringing that up because every time we shake our heads every time. It's not about expectations. I'm just being a realist, because if we sit here and say it can't get done and it gets done, we're going to go, wow, man, I can't believe it got done.
No, can he find $7 million more? Yeah, he probably could find 7 more.
Of course he can. Brandon B can find whatever the fuck he wants to find, apparently. He just signed 8 free agents when we had a minus $5 million cap to start. So in one of those contracts, there's like 50 guaranteed. So he can find a way. Believe me, there's always a way. And I still think there's some kind of trade going to happen. I don't know for who. It could be a small trade.
All off season.
I am. I don't know why. But listen, it could be a dumb trade. It could be a pick for we can move up in the draft
or something.
Yeah. Right. I'm just saying I see something happening. And the Barkley thing still interests me. But I will throw a guy out there that interests me. And I know we talked about this, Mike, and I told you to watch film on him because you weren't really is Cordell Patterson. And Cordell Patterson would be –
especially now,
he would be electric here, man, because you guys were all high on J.D. McKissick, on his catching ability. This guy
is a monster.
Yard after catch is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And can you imagine him in the backfield, let's say, with Singletary at the same time? You don't know you have no idea. Or if he's just in the backfield and we do those 5 sets, you put and Patterson goes to the outside as the 5th receiver.
Yeah.
You want to talk about dangerous offense?
Yeah.
Lights out. You have no idea who you're going to guard at that point. So I would absolutely love that deal, but you're right. He could want $7 million. I have no idea. I know his market right now
because of his age. I have a feeling he's going to hold out for that big deal because it's his last.
I didn't see him.
True.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, they're saying 6.5, 7 right now. But
That's
once again, though, he's 30 something, I think.
Yeah.
And listen, he could go, you know what? This is my one opportunity. I've been on bad teams. Listen, Minnesota, Atlanta. Sure, I'm sure he can go on some bad team and get paid. But do you want that ring? Do you want to be on a team?
He got that ring with the Patriots.
Well, with the Patriots, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about being a playmaker, right, Mike? I'm talking about something special, right? This is what we're doing a Buffalo special. No, real special, Mikey. It's a big difference.
I get it. I'm just saying,
playing with Josh Allen.
He's not chasing the. He's not chasing
you're right.
the ring.
But I still think he would. Well, you never know. But I think he would be smart to come here. But I say that for every player. Your thoughts on Cordell? Yeah. What do you think about Cordell, Jerick?
I like him a lot. I mean, again, it's not even just that. I mean, as a special teams player, that's arguably one of the best special teams player that we've had in this generation since Hester. I mean, he was electrifying even at the age of 31 as a returner. So that will be huge. Again, as a running back, as a gadget type of player, you can put him in the slot, you can put him out wide. He has that veteran experience as that receiver. Again, that Deebo Samuel type of player, it all started with guys like Cordell Patterson. It's why I think in the draft, I think I'm really high on Treylon Burks is because of that type of ability. But overall wise, I like Cordell Patterson. I think that could be a potential get if we could afford him, if he wants to come here. Because again, he's coming off of a Pro Bowl type of year. So again, Brandon Beane can make things happen, and it kind of depends, where Cordell Patterson wants to kind of take it. But I mean, if we can land Cordell Patterson, that's you're adding another extra special weapon for Josh Allen.
That's a cherry on the top.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson. I'll tell you, I went back and watched that film. Cordell Patterson is what everyone wanted Andre Roberts to be.
Yeah,
he's Andre Roberts on steroids. Because
and running back too.
Right. He's a running back, receiver, and returners. He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and he's fast. That dude, let me tell you, yards after catch on some of those highlights last year that I watched. My God, man, like. He gets it, and he's picking up 10, 15, 20 or to the house. That's one thing that, unfortunately Singletary, who I love, doesn't have that ability. He doesn't have that speed burst.
Extra gear.
That extra gear, right? Like he can get – I've seen Singletary break off a 35-yard run but get caught up. Yeah. This guy ain't getting caught up.
Chewy in the chat was asking if Bradbury's available. Bradbury is available. They want to trade him. The problem with Bradbury is he has a $13.5 million cap hit this year. That's preventing people from trading for him. So Bradbury is a fantastic player and would fit the Bills scheme. We know that because McDermott is the one who drafted him and trained him. It's just that $13.5 million cap hit is preventing anybody from trading for him.
Yep. So go ahead, Nasty. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, was it Elvis is in the chat? He said Xavier Rhodes as like corner. Like that was kind of my guy because he signed for like a $4 million deal last year with the Colts, and he's like a zone corner guy. He played with Minnesota. He's
Rhodes, Hayden, Peterson, those veteran guys that still have the mentality and the mind that helps make up for their maybe loss of step. Yeah. Those are the type of guys who would fit well here. And then you pair him with a young, top 3 round corner.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Yep. So listen, we said we weren't going to talk about the draft yet, really, until free agency kind of settles down.
Makes sense.
So we're not going to really talk about players yet, but I do want to, now that we've picked up a lot, and I'm sure there's maybe a few left, your number one pick. What position would you guys go with? I'll start with Jerick first.
Give me a receiver. Give me a receiver. I pretty much told you who it was, but I really, really want a receiver, particularly in the slot. I like Gabe Davis on the outside, so I think you can definitely keep that. Obviously, you got Stephon Diggs there, but now with the loss of Cole Beasley, I just think with Isaiah McKenzie, we're going to use him in so many different roles besides maybe as much as we want to use him in the slot. I think you really want to try to get that technician. You want to get that Cole Beasley type of player, that technician right in there. And I think this is a really good draft class full of slot receivers that can provide a lot of value. I think the most important part, though, is run after the catch ability. And there's reason why I love prospects like Sky Moore and Traylon Burks, and there's a lot of guys I can name, honestly, that you can even get in the later rounds.
Calvin Austin the third.
Yes,
I love Calvin Austin,
that provides that speed, that speed, that technicality, and that run after the catch ability. So I think receiver
Michi,
in the slot,
Williamson.
that could be it. Yeah.
Yep.
And so Jerick, I heard you say technician. I wouldn't put Burks in the category of technician. Burks is more of a freelancer, much like Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a route technician.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Mikey?
Yeah, he definitely.
What about you? What are you doing in the draft there? You're Brandon Beane. 25
it depends
coming
who's
up.
on the board. It depends who's on the board. I'm be perfectly honest. I'm the guy who says, listen, we went through and we filled almost all the holes. You take your top player on the board. Now, of the positions that I'd probably look round one, if Zion Johnson was there, I'd have a really hard time passing on him unless Williamson was there or one of those elite receivers. Zion Johnson, because you have to remember, we only have Saffold for 1 year. We only have Bates if he comes back for 1 year.
If he comes back, we only have him for 1 year. So our interior offensive line still needs a lot of work. And I get it. It's a deep draft. There's a lot of guys we can get probably in the mid rounds, but you get that elite guy who has that center guard flex. I would look there. If it wasn't for them, I would look corner. What corners left? Me personally, I may pick up the phone and call Seattle. See if we can get up into 9 to take either Sauce or Stingley, because that's the one thing we're really missing is an elite CB2, especially with Trey coming back off the ACL. We're not sure when he's going to be back. You give me an elite CB2. Every player is different off injuries. You never know.
That's fine. Take the best available. If we definitely in the draft, we definitely need to get some interior offensive linemen in here. Cromer get his hands on him because we're in trouble after this year.
Yep. What you thought, Nest Neat, man? What you going, man? 25.
Jared, did you want to say something?
Huh? Go ahead.
Okay, cool. Was it one little note I want to make? I was watching the scouting combine, and what's his name out of Washington, McDuffie. He ran his first 40, and right after he ran his first 40, they panned up to the Bills booth or whatever. And you can see they're both on the computers and they're both paying attention. And if you go back and look, he ran a 4.45 or something. You can see Beane mumble 4.45. And then he said, that's both. And then he took his binoculars and like put them down. So like, I don't know what you want to read into that, but you can tell he was really like interested in like that player or even like a corner because he's supposed to be at like at least a top, like a first round pick.
Both they're talking. When they say both, they're talking about both the Washington corners.
Where I was thinking
Gordon and McDuffie.
Yeah, or I was thinking like he checked both boxes, like the 10 split and the 40.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, whatever. I just thought that was really.
I'll tell you, those two corners out of Washington mirror very much what Trey White was coming out of LSU.
Yeah, especially McDuffie. Like I don't think McDuffie or even Booth from Clemson will probably be there at 25, but like I think 4 will go before it gets to us. But I would say corner if one of those guys slips to us would almost be a slam dunk. But
yeah. I'm on board with Mikey. I listen. We are so thin at offensive line and cornerback, especially cornerback. Kind of worries me right now. Like I was worried about the edge, obviously not anymore. I was worried about the tackle position, not anymore. But cornerback room, guys.
Like I know they like their guys and they can like
have to. Listen, the fact if Trey White never got hurt, let's say hypothetically, he's coming back. I'm not stressing it. I'm still saying draft a corner, no problem. But I'm not over stressing it. Hey, get one in the third or something.
Yeah, I hear you.
But the fact that we didn't do it last year, I kind of felt like
they love Dane Jackson. They have so much faith in Dane Jackson.
I get it, but you got it. But he ain't there yet. He ain't there yet. Maybe he'll get there.
Okay.
He ain't there yet.
Here's the thing. He played well enough that when Kansas City needed a pass. They threw it against Levi.
No,
Wallace.
you're right. They threw it.
So he's done well enough over there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and he's actually a very good tackler. He's a very good tackler. Listen, he's young. He's getting better, no doubt. But it's time the Bills draft a cornerback, a quality number 2, a stud out of college. That's what I would address.
Replacement for Trey. You have to remember Trey's 28.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
27,
Coming off a major injury.
So in 5 years, 5 years, because you have to remember in the first round we get the 5th-year option. In 5 years, Trey's going to be 33. Yeah. Coming looking for another bag. We need to have that guy in the pipeline, the next number 1.
Yeah,
100%. And then of course, like I said, offensive line. So if we don't trade up, which it's very possible we do. Brandon Beane's not opposed to that. We've done it multiple Brandon Beane drafts. We did it for Allen. We did it for Edmonds. We did it for Cody Ford, right? We did it for Dawson Knox. So
I don't think so. I think he's never really high. To go
he's never opposed. It doesn't matter. He's not opposed. He's not opposed to doing it.
Absolutely.
If he has a guy he wants, he goes and gets him.
Correct. So if he sees it and it's there, it's a play. He probably will make it. So, in my opinion, if we stay at 25, I'm going to say at that time, I would rather go offensive line if the cornerbacks are not on.
If they're there,
right?
There's only a couple really good interior offensive line that are round 1 guys.
But I definitely agree with Jerick too on a wide receiver. I really would like a speedy wide receiver,
if their guy is there, I could see them taking him. But if he's not the guy that they're targeting is not there, I can see them passing because it's a very deep wide receiver draft.
Yeah.
In the second and thirds, you have Michi and
but what
a couple
kind of
other
speedy
guys.
Are you talking about though? Like, are you talking like a big guy?
I don't know, like a Calvin Austin type of
speed? That shifty
they're looking
kind of speedy.
Yeah, they're looking for the elite speed,
over the top
speed,
top, like what John Brown used to be.
John Brown was. They're looking for that elite speed.
Correct.
So there's a lot of guys in the mid rounds that have that. Calvin Austin, Sky Moore, John Mechie. Then you have your technicians that Jerick was talking about, and those are the what's his name, Alex something or other out of Cincinnati. He's like 6'3", but Alex Pierce, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's 6'3", but he's a technician. You have the Kyle Phillips out of UCLA who has the return ability and the route running. Like, so there is many. I mean, you can get to in the 7th round and find like a Trey Turner who's a burner. Yeah, he may not be, or Taquan Treadwell who's a burner. There's so many of or Traquan Thompson or something like that. But out of Baylor. Yeah,
Thornton.
Thornton. Thornton. There you go, Thornton. Taquan Thornton. Thank you.
Yeah, he's a 6'3" guy or something, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like 6'2", but he runs into like the high 4.3s. Yeah, high 4.3s. He's just a burner.
That's what I'm talking about. A tall burner guy, or do you want that?
And I don't think it really matters. At this point, if they're looking for that burner, I don't think they're looking for a slot guy. I think they're looking for an outside guy. You have to remember,
over
Gabe
the top.
Davis,
they're looking for an over the top.
Gabe Davis, Stephon Diggs, and Mckenzie can all play the slot.
A cheap free agent actually would be Kyle Fuller. I think he's a free agent. He was from the Dolphins, and then he was at the Texans.
Will Fuller?
Yeah, Will Fuller. Yeah, because he's a 4'3".
He's not cheap. He's not cheap though.
No, he'll want.
He hasn't signed yet.
He got $10 million last year. Not even to play.
But I don't even think he'll even get it. I don't know.
I wouldn't.
He's probably going to end up in Cleveland with Watson.
You think so?
I wouldn't want Fuller, to be honest with you. Like, if we're going to sign it,
he's hurt.
If we're going to spend it every year,
he's not reliable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's hurt. Yeah, he's hurt and suspended every year.
I wouldn't. All the wide receivers that are left, I'll be honest with you, they're either want too much or they're at the kind of like the part of their career where I don't want to touch it. I rather the Bills take care of that in the draft. Go ahead and get your speed guy, over the top guy, and work with him. And by the way, he has time. They have time. Like we have a good wide receiver set right now. It's not like you have to rush this guy in the mix. So,
Christian Watkins is another one.
Yeah, but he's more of a second.
He's late second, early third is where they're kind of It really depends on if someone falls in love with him. You have to remember, Al Davis isn't around anymore.
Yes, just did.
So, they're not going to take that
Yeah.
big, fast guy just because he ran big and fast. He's very raw coming out of North Dakota State.
Yeah.
But, he has DK Metcalf vibes written all over him.
Like, out of him, Pickens, and Ross, it's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pick your poison out of those three. So,
Other than
I'm
Ross
thinking too,
is
like,
an injured guy.
Yeah, go ahead,
He's a guy like Stingley. Stingley put on great tape his freshman year. Then you haven't really seen much of him.
Yeah, it's because he had a neck injury or something. Yeah, he had a neck injury or something. But those three.
Sorry. Go ahead, Tommy. I'm
thinking too. As far as going deeper in the draft too, I wouldn't mind a quarterback later on in the draft somewhere.
Not this year, dude.
No. Late. I'm talking about. Listen, stuff him on the practice squad.
Yeah.
There's always a guy.
Yeah,
get a
Perry
6th
from
round.
Brown University.
Listen, you got 7 rounds. You got multiple. We got a decent amount. I think we have 2 6s. I got to look at that.
Yeah, I don't think
I would not be opposed. There's always a guy that can listen. They drafted what's his name in the 5th.
Jake Fromm.
I hated him, but but I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked if they draft like a quarterback in the 6th. There's also a punter who's like the man.
The punt god. The punt god.
Yeah, but I would absolutely love.
He's not going in the 3rd round.
I know. No. This ain't Janikowski.
We don't hear you, Jerick. You look like you were saying something. Okay, he looked like he had something to say about the punt god.
Yeah.
I've heard that too because he was kicking the ball like 80 yards at the combine. Listen, once people start going in, they see the guys that are on the board. Punt god, that's an Al Davis move.
But he was a good kicker, though. By the way, Mikey, though, he was a good kicker.
He's also a
not just
too.
about the
But you have to remember, there's more than one. Because Cardona out of Georgia is really good as well, and Stone out of Penn State's really good.
I just can't see him keeping Hawk. Is my point.
Yeah,
they're gonna find a different punter.
I don't see them keeping Hawk either. So it's just one of those. It's one of those things. But
Jerick, you on, buddy?
You back, buddy?
Nope.
No.
Real quick too. Running back. You see us drafting a running back, guys?
Well, let's go back to quarterback real quick because we were talking about the quarterback.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So from a quarterback standpoint, I just don't see it late rounds. Anybody who you can get in the late round, because I don't think we're going to take all 9 picks. I think we're going to package some of these late picks to move up and down because we're not 9 guys are going to be able to be rostered. And after last year, we lost 3 of our picks. We're pilfered off of our practice squad. Beane's not going to do that again.
But
I wouldn't be shocked though. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
it really wouldn't. It wouldn't.
I think it's those mid-round picks that always get picked. So I think our 2 6s or 2 7s, we'd probably
those are late-round picks.
Yeah,
those are the guys that got picked last year.
Yeah.
Were
they? No,
those are 6th and 7th round picks. Yeah.
Was he a 6?
It was Mark was
a 6. Wowz was a 6.
Mark
Anderson was a 7th.
Stevenson was a 6th.
And Stevenson was a 6th.
Anyways, the 2 quarterbacks I like is Perry from Brown University and Glass from Alabama State.
And Glass is going to probably be a UDFA.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like
I don't think he's going to get selected. I think he's going to be a UDFA.
Yeah. So if you took him like a 7th, for instance, you could probably stash him on the practice squad. You know what I mean? Like that kind of mentality.
But why waste that pick on him if you can get him as a undrafted free agent?
And
you can use that 7th round pick to move up in another thing to get someone who will make your roster.
But I'm just saying
fair. Either way, I see him picking up. Either way, they're going to pick up somebody. They're going to bring a quarterback.
We're going to pick up somebody as a developmental.
Correct.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I just don't see using a asset on him in the draft. I think he's going to be a UDFA, and then they're going to stash him on the practice squad.
Jerick, can we hear you now? Can you?
Are you back?
No.
Oh no!
I mean, he looked like he had something to say about that punt guy too. He was on it.
Oh no!
Oh, sorry, buddy. Anyways, you said you want to move to running back, Tommy.
Yeah, real quick. Our last subject. We're getting off soon anyway. So just curious. So what's your thoughts on a running back? We going to draft one? I mean, would you want to draft one?
I hope so.
It depends. It depends on where it falls in the draft.
Like, what do you think about?
And it depends if we sign anybody in free agency, because there's still people out there like Tariq Cohen's still out there.
That's right.
Who failed his physical, so he might be willing to come in at a cheaper price than normal. There's a couple other pass catching backs. I don't think we're gonna go and spend a second round pick to grab Breece Hall or Walker the third or any of those type of guys. I think we'll be looking probably third, fourth round if we take one. And that's in the James Cook. And
I think he's 3 at I don't know. I think he's 3 at, if we're lucky, we have a 3.
You got. I'm going to list some free agents. Just heads up, guys, running back, so that are still out there. So, Rashad Penny from Seattle. He had a good second half. He had a good second half of the season. For Seattle.
I loved him coming out. He was just always hurt.
Depending on the pay, it would be an interesting pickup. Even Ronald Jones, who came around finally in Tampa, would be an interesting pickup because he did finally, because they were waiting on him. He just never, and then
he's got that speed that we're looking for too.
Yeah,
Ronald Jones had some speed.
And then you got the Marlon Max, you got the Duke Johnsons, but the Penny does it for me. Obviously, my go-to guy, I'll keep preaching, is Patterson, but if we can't get him, I wouldn't mind Penny, man. I really would not.
Duke Johnson would be interesting in the J.D. McKissic role. You know who I really am looking towards, and I don't know if he's still a free agent or if he got picked up by, if he got brought back by Kansas City, is Jerick McKinnon. He is a souped-up J.D. McKissic. Jerick McKinnon can run and catch. He can play the slot. He's a little bit of everything. I would love that guy. And he was elite, and he got hurt a couple times in San Francisco once he signed that big deal coming out of Minnesota. And then he went and got picked up by KC in the playoffs. He did fantastic.
Yeah. Is there any other old Buffalo Bills players that are coming? Can we get Rich?
I think we're done with the reunions. I think we're done with the reunions.
Do we want to just bring back everybody? Can Rex Ryan come back as just an announcer?
No.
I think Deshaun Watson just went to Cleveland.
He did.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier.
That was earlier.
For 3 ones. For 3 ones and like a 2 2s, a 3 and a 4 or something like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
So Baker's going to, where I think Baker go to? Detroit.
Indy.
I think Baker. I think
Baker ends up in Indy.
You think so? Okay, you're right. I didn't think about Indy.
Yeah.
Detroit or Indy. I still think Detroit. You're right. I forgot about Indy, but Detroit will be interesting too. I got to be honest with you. Detroit would be interesting too. But Indy,
Indy's missing the quarterback.
Yeah, but so is Detroit, man. I don't think they have any faith in Goff. Man.
I mean, they have Goff. They have Goff.
Come on. I know. I'm just saying faith in them. Like it's either long term. Like they could get a Baker Mayfield, who I still, but he's not bad, right? Like
Baker.
The verdict's not really out on him yet. But
I don't think they've played. I don't think Cleveland has done Baker's any favors. The offense that they're running doesn't fit his skill set.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. So maybe
I'm not a Baker
start.
fan. I'm not a Baker fan.
No.
I don't like him much as a person. He just rubs me
better
the
than
wrong
Tua,
way for whatever reason.
Better than Tua. Yeah. I gotta say
they're the same.
No, Baker's put Tua to shame.
Right.
Let's call it spade a spade. I don't like Baker, and I don't defend him very often, but he's produced more than Tua has.
And Darnold, is he a free agent now, or he's
no? Darnold's on his 5th-year option.
He's okay. I was just curious because I know
they're paying him $18 million.
Carolina. I know, crazy money. Well, guys, Jerick is. I don't know what happened to my buddy, man.
But his headset died with the mic, and they tried to find a new one. It didn't work.
He's like, bro, this show's supposed to be an hour. Well, hey, guys in the chat, man, I'm sorry. Did I miss anything, guys? I know you guys pay attention a little bit more to me. Is there anything that I missed there that you guys want to get to, that just in case? Before we sign on.
Deshaun Watson did get a new 5-year. $230 million fully guaranteed contract.
Whoa.
The first year, his base salary is $1 million, just in case he gets suspended. That's all he loses.
That is a Cleveland type of thing to do, guys. That is Cleveland, bro. When I saw that when he was going to Cleveland, I said,
I didn't even know that. It came up in the chat.
Good luck.
Chewy said, case of Coronas if we go wide receiver in the first.
That is a Cleveland type of move, boy. Well, anyways, guys, hey, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys for hopping on. As usual, we want to be here without you guys. Jerick, I appreciate you. I don't know where you're at.
Awesome.
You lost this. You're in space somewhere, but I love you, man. I appreciate you hopping on. Jant Sports, guys, check them out. Mikey, my co-host, co-host, whatever you want to call it. We are on. There he is, Jerick. Can you hear us now? Can you talk? Let's see if we can hear him. Actually,
Do you have any mic?
Oh, damn it. That's all right.
Mic. Okay. Okay.
So Jerick from Jant Sports, check him out. He covers Buffalo Bills, Alabama football. Man, the dude knows his stuff. Check him out, man. And hey, I appreciate you hopping on, man. Mikey, #sports. We are going to be going on Friday soon, guys. Okay, we'll tweet it out when
couple weeks.
Yep, we'll tweet it out when we are making it official. Where we are doing it on a weekly thing. And then we also have a new show, Friday Night Lights, that we're going to do here and there. I would say every 2 weeks or so that show might be, and that's me, Joe, and Mikey. And then we got Nasty Nate here, who we're trying to get going here in the content world. And you're going to be seeing more of Nasty Nate as well. And then you got my channel, man. I'm working on some stuff as well, guys. I'll keep you posted on that. And Bills Mafia, #1. I appreciate you guys once again, and we are out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Bills.
God bless America and God bless Ric Flair. Go for it. Woo! Styling and profiling. Woo! 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 I've lost it. I've lost reality. And when I lose reality, somebody else pays the price of a lifetime. Woo!